All right. All right, everyone, if you could please take your seats. We're going to get started here in just a second. All right, welcome back, everybody. We're going to get things started here. Yeah, it's like we're at a wedding. Go ahead, clink, 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 clink. I think that means that David has to kiss Gordon or something. No, is that what that means? No, that's not how that works. All right, well, welcome back. My name is Jason Menzo. I'm back up here at the stage. And I do want to have just one bit of housekeeping before we start the program for this afternoon. This session that we're in right now is being recorded. And if you are using an assisted listening device, the channel to listen to this session on is the red channel. I hope everyone enjoyed lunch. Lunch has been really good at this, or the food at this hotel has actually been really, really good. And not that we'd expected it not to be, but a lot of times hotel food isn't that great, but this hotel's been pretty good. So thank you to our hotel staff. I do have one other thing to say, that if you are on social media, yeah, go ahead. If you can clap, that's fine. Marguerite, I saw Marguerite clapping, that was good. But if you're on social media, first of all, you should be following the Foundation Fighting Blindness on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, X/Twitter. Chris tells me we're on TikTok now. But follow the foundation, engaging with the community beyond just being here at Visions via social media is a fantastic way to do that. Visions specifically, you can join the conversation on X, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, etc., using the hashtag Visions 2024 and tagging us in any posts, which is @FightingBlindness. Just like this morning, this session that we're hosting right now is being live streamed on Facebook. I don't know the numbers, but typically when we do live streams like this, thousands of folks from around the world are dialed in. So this is a great opportunity to expand the reach of what we do beyond just the amazing folks here in the room. So at this time, it's my pleasure to invite Dr. Alena Reznichenko, who is the Vice President of Global Medical Affairs with Johnson & Johnson. And as I mentioned this morning, we're thrilled to have Johnson & Johnson as our gold sponsor and our keynote underwriter. So please help me welcome Dr. Reznichenko to the stage.
Thank you, Jason, and I have to agree, the food was delicious, especially the dessert, so if you have a sweet tooth like me, then you definitely appreciated that. But I wanted just to take a couple of moments and to share a few things with you. And by way of introduction, as Jason has said, I am the Vice President of Global Medical Affairs, Specialty Ophthalmology at Johnson & Johnson, and we are truly proud to be the gold partner sponsor for Visions 2024. And it's truly a personal pleasure for me as well to be here, because I'm a physician and I've worked many years in clinical practice, but I've also worked at the Royal New Zealand Foundation of the Blind for many years. And I know firsthand both sides of the story. So being in the pharmaceutical industry and being in this field is truly an opportunity that I cherish, because I can help so many, many more patients around the world. I am honored to be here and alongside you to spend this weekend to listen to the latest advancements in retina disease research. And I truly take my hat off to the Foundation Fighting Blindness for their visionary leadership in driving so many things that support and further the research and help with clinical trials. If it wasn't for you, we probably wouldn't have advanced so far. Johnson & Johnson has a long-standing history of innovation, and coupled with our deep expertise and experience in drug development, and also with our large footprint in ophthalmics through our Visions department, we truly hope that we can make a difference for patients with retinal diseases so that they can have a much brighter future. 5 years ago, we established a division, which we called now Specialty Ophthalmology, with the intent to explore and develop therapies that might lead us to that, and we are talking about gene therapies. And they are for rare conditions such as X-linked retinitis pigmentosa, but also for common ones like geographic atrophy. We launched this portfolio as a direct response to the persisting high unmet need in this area. And as you know, there are so many people across the world who still don't have access to treatments. And those treatments that do exist, they are cumbersome, they are not very effective. Sometimes they are truly way too invasive. So together with the Foundation Fighting Blindness, we hope to change that. I want once again to say thank you to the Foundation Fighting Blindness for the opportunity to bring all of you together here and for this amazing meeting. I was truly impressed by the panel discussion this moment. I've learned a lot, and I'm looking forward to the remaining couple of days to learn even more. So thank you.
Yeah, for those who've been involved with the foundation for, I guess, let me think, the first group of clappers this morning. So those who've been at the Foundation's Visions meetings for many years, how does it feel to be thinking about the fact that Johnson & Johnson, a household name, is invested in this space? That we're not talking, yeah, go ahead, you can clap, that's amazing. And I don't mean just from a distance, but they're engaged, they're here at Visions. And they're not alone. There are so many companies, whether they be large multinational companies, small startups. The whole point of what we're trying to do isn't just to fund research for the sake of funding research. It's to drive the research to provide preventions, treatments, and cures to those who are affected with inherited retinal diseases and dry age-related macular degeneration. That isn't possible if we don't have partnerships with companies who are focused and invested in this space, and we're thrilled to have built such a great collaboration with Johnson & Johnson. So it's now my pleasure to shift gears. We're gonna have a very special moment now. It's my pleasure to introduce the chairman of the board, David Brint, to the stage. But I do wanna share for those of you who don't know David, because the second group of clappers from this morning, who are new to Visions, may not know the legacy or the history of David and his family. David and Betsy first became involved with the Foundation Fighting Blindness in 1998 when their son Alan was diagnosed with an inherited retinal disease. And after many years of service as a volunteer and as a board director, David was elected to the chair position of the board in 2016, succeeding Gordon Gund, who, as I mentioned earlier, is here in the room, becoming only the second chair of the Foundation Fighting Blindness in our 52-year history. He is, I can't put into words the amount of effort. It's like he's a full-time staff member at the foundation. I talk to him all the time. He is a tireless leader. His impact on the organization and this mission is immeasurable. And for those who don't know, he is retiring as chair of the board and will be succeeded by Karen Petru, who we're going to hear from tomorrow. And we're thrilled to welcome Karen as the third chair of the board in our 52, now almost 53-year history. So it is my great pleasure to welcome David to the stage to share a little bit about his reflection of his time as chair of the board.
Well, first of all, how about Chicago, huh? We bring you the weather or what, right? It's going to be a beautiful weekend here. I think the Cubs are in town for those of you who want to sneak out. Should be lots to do. It's a bittersweet moment for me because I love this organization and I love making a contribution, but it was the right time to step aside. One of the things that I know that Gordon had a vision for was to make sure that the organization lasted long after he was gone, long after I was gone, and I think we have succeeded in that mission. Helping lead this organization for the last 8 years has really been one of the highlights of my life. Gordon, I really hope that you're proud of the way we've cared for your baby. And what you did, Gordon, what you created has changed and will continue to change the lives of millions of people, and I mean millions over the next decades. I'm being honored and thanked today, but we all know none of this would happen without your guidance, your support, your vision, and your perseverance. You're an amazing, amazing human being, and I'm so proud to call you a friend. You know, we've changed FFB a little bit over these years into the current times, and we've tried to be ahead of the trend a little bit. We've been at the forefront of a trend of making nonprofits more entrepreneurial. We've accomplished this because of some amazing efforts, and I want to make sure that I thank the people that have spent so much time and effort working along with me to do this. You know, your board of directors that run the organization are unbelievable. I've been on a lot of boards. I know the way they work or don't work. Karen has stepped in, and one of the things that we've done is we've created a little more term limits because nobody wants to leave the board. But it's healthy, and it's an important thing to do. They're brilliant. They're committed like no one else. And I just wanted to call out a few of the names of folks that have been so close. Haynes Lee couldn't be here. As I've been teasing him, he had to catch a couple extra golf courses in Ireland, so he's busy. But Haynes has been with the organization for decades and decades, and he is a extremely valuable lawyer and advisor. Warren Thaler's been my right hand for the last 8 years, and all the stuff that I don't want to do, he does. Maybe even stuff that I didn't know I didn't want to do, he does. Jason Morris is here somewhere, and Jason has been, will be the vice chair when Karen takes over. And Joel Davis is here. Joel's been on the board for 112 years, 113, something on that order. I don't know like that. And Steve Alper and Evan Mittman and Brad Manning, and of course our incoming chair and Karen Petro. And I'm sure I forgot some folks. I'm sorry if I did, but those folks have been so close to me for such a long time. Our staff and your staff is spectacular. I mean, Jason Menzo, he comes up here and he should be a performer. I mean, he is just spectacular. I don't know if you've ever seen his performances with some of our music programs where he interviews the rock stars. I mean, you're the man. You are the man. And I just want to recognize that Peter Ginsberg and Amy Laster and Michelle DiVincenzo, who I've known from the beginning because she's from Chicago, yes. Chris Evans and Todd Durham and Rishi Donat and Jeff Kloss just joined us, and my man Rusty Kelly, wherever he is, who runs our RD fund, who's amazing. And I particularly want to call out John Corneal, who's an old friend, and John has been running our legacy program forever. And not only has he been here forever, and he's retiring too at the end of this month, but John has been fundraising. John's team was the first walk team in the foundation history to raise over $1 million. $1 million. He's never going to talk to me again for calling him out, but too bad, sorry. You know, the other piece of this is I've spent a lot of my time working with the researchers and the doctors and people in the clinics, and I just want you to do me one favor. When you meet any of the researchers over the next 2 days, give them a big hug. They're the most spectacular people I've ever met in the world. They're committed, they're usually extraordinarily kind, they're thoughtful, and they are making an amazing amount of difference. And for the clinicians in the field, we can all say, we're working so that you folks actually have treatments and cures that you can give your patients. And that should be something that comes very soon. Particularly want to thank Jackie Duncan, who's been the chair of our scientific advisory board, and Eric Pierce, who was before her, and Alan Ladies before before him, and Gene Bennett and Mort Goldberg and Steve Rose and Jose Sahel have been my advisors forever. It's just a fraction of the folks that do amazing work here. A couple of personal things that I'd be remiss, and you folks would be without me unless I had the best business partner in the entire world. And he's right here, Rich Shortino. And, from the beginning, he basically just said, do whatever you have to do, just go away from me, just get away. And the last piece is that I have been compensating for a mistake I made at my wedding 34 years ago. I forgot to thank my wife for taking pity on me and marrying me, and I've never heard the end of it. So here goes, Bets, okay? Without you, I couldn't function. I love you and I appreciate you and I admire you more than anyone or anything in the world, except maybe Gordon. And thank you for allowing me to dedicate myself to this cause. I appreciate it. I travel so much that Betsy has told all of her friends that she's convinced I have another family. So she tracks me on the iPhone to see where I go. Over the last decade, or the last 8 years, we've made an amazing changes. We've created a strategic council for young people who are now coming up into the board and doing grassroots work. We created an RD fund. We've expanded our chapter program with the program that Luli and Gordon sponsored. We have the best pre-ARVO conference, science conference in the world. We have focused on accessibility for our own staff and for the public. We've been part of the first FDA successful trial. We've been responsible for now over 40, maybe 48 clinical trials. And we've raised our profile internationally, and we're bringing on our first international board member as of July 1st. So I hope that you all, get a chance to experience just a little bit of the joy that I've experienced by this organization. And it's not only been, running the organization, but it's been very personal because you know that our son Alan has LCA and he's been blind from birth with light perception. Alan's one of the first people that got treated in a recent LCA5 study that Thomas Allman and based on Gene Bennett's research, and soon to treat a few other people that are close to us. So Alan was treated last August, and we were in the mountains, and I took him out on the deck, and I said, just take a look out there. Do you see anything? And he looked, and the sun was setting behind the mountains, and he looked at us, and he was, are those mountains? And my wife and I burst into tears. And then, if you know Alan at all, he goes from serious to, laughing, and pretty easily. He's really only been able to see, light, and he never really could see fireworks, even though we all told him how great it was. And so fireworks came, and he's sitting out on the porch with us, and they take off, and he says, oh, I can see that. And then they start going on. He's got a big smile on his face. He says, oh, I see what you like. And then at the end, you know how they fire like 100 rockets at the same time? He looks at us and he goes, wow, those fireworks are blinding. The wise guy. I just hope everyone gets to experience that joy of a loved one gaining a little bit of sight. And I know that I won't stop, and I know the foundation won't stop until that happens for all of you. FFB gets into your blood, and it's part of my soul now. The belief that in my lifetime, will treat and cure many of, or even most retinal diseases is palpable. As I've said many times, we live for the time when no parent will be told that their child is or will go blind, that no young person will feel the uncertainty of their impending loss of vision, and that no senior will have to live their last years without their sight. That's our goal, and it's a valuable goal. It's a valuable life's work. I'm very thankful that the board and you have given me the chance to be part of this journey. Thank you all very much. I love you all.
So yesterday, the board of directors had our end of fiscal year 24 meeting, and there were a lot of great stories and certainly a lot of emotions celebrating the tenure of David as chair. And one of the things that we shared with him yesterday was, and I want to share with you all today, is that the Foundation Fighting Blindness is going to be renaming the Translational Research Program in his honor. And so the Translational Research Program, and for those who are not as in tune with the stages of research, this is the stage of research where things that are happening in the lab translate to things that will happen in people, which is one of David's great legacies, is having so much impact on that specific area. And we're all very, very proud and very excited to be renaming that program in David's honor. So. I do want to direct your attention. We're going to show a very special video now. And the video features several very important people in David's life. And they're essentially just shots of folks speaking directly into the camera. And we have a very special message for David in this video. And I do want to warn you before we roll the video, I have watched this no less than, 30 times, and I cannot watch it without crying, so, just be forewarned. But please roll the video.
David's mother-in-law.
Well, on Mother's Day, 27 years ago, my son Andrew was trying to get baby Alan to follow his finger. That's when we had our first inkling about the blindness.
Betsy Brint, David's wife.
David decided, I gotta figure out how to fix this, how to give him the opportunity to see if he wants to see.
Alan Brint, David's son.
I think the work that my dad's built will benefit people that aren't even born yet.
Sally Schwartz, David's sister-in-law.
David is the fixer. So he looks at a problem and he's like, he knows how to fix it. Sees a straight line right through it. Goes, it's not a problem. I'm gonna fix it.
Gordon Gund, co-founder, chair, 1971 to 2016, Foundation Fighting Blindness.
He enjoys life. He's very generous and he's very thoughtful of other people.
Joel Davis, board director, Foundation Fighting Blindness.
When you agreed to succeed Gordon Gund as chairman of the board of the foundation, you had gigantic shoes to fill. You have admirably succeeded at this task.
Ira Schulman, national trustee, Foundation Fighting Blindness.
I want you to know that the impact you've had on the organization will resonate for years to come.
Stephen Schwartz, David's brother-in-law.
David's ability to take all the research that's gone in so many different directions, continually, strategically pare it down to get results, has been something the whole world should be thankful for.
Jamie and Jordan Cutler, parents of affected child.
We found out that Ari was diagnosed with LCA, specifically LCA 5.
Chrissy Cornell, parent of affected child.
He and his wife Betsy were a beacon of hope at a challenging time.
David delivered a message of hope to us that there was a lot of research in the works.
Ari has a message for him too.
Thank you, David. You're my hero.
Carly Brindla, David's daughter.
My dad is the smartest, the warmest, and the most compassionate person I know.
Stephen Stark Lowenstein, rabbi. Julie Stark, board member, Chicago Lighthouse.
A great theologian, the Tin Man and the Wizard of Oz once said, "A heart is not judged by how much you love, but how much you are loved by others." David is loved by so many people, and we're honored to be part of that group.
Laura Manfrey, board member, Foundation Fighting Blindness.
I'd see him in crowds and he was like, moving through, and I was like, David. Anyway, so finally I body checked him in the hallway. I just slammed him up against the wall, and in my head, I think I grabbed his lapels and was like, hey, my daughter needs, to get her gene identified. We've gone everywhere. Where do we go? And he said, do this, and I promise you in 6 months she will have her gene. And he was right. She did. So, David, you're like a magic body slamming Buddha.
Brad Schneider, Congressman, 10th District, Illinois.
David is truly a remarkable person. He is passionate, dedicated, committed, persistent. Exactly the attributes you want for someone who's going to lead an effort to find a cure for blindness.
Zachary Brint, David's son.
My dad's a role model for both his ability to deliver results, but also his ability to think big. So proud of you and all the work that you've done.
Steve Brint, David's brother.
David is a quality human being who understands people, has a great deal of empathy for them, and is always helpful in almost every setting.
Michael Cornell, parent of affected child.
Only person I think I've ever met who's got this combination of determination, conviction, and kindness.
Dr. Janet Slick, President and CEO of Chicago Lighthouse.
He is a champion, he is a trailblazer, and the world needs more David Brints.
There's a video somewhere out there that the Foundation Fighting Blindness did when we started on this journey, where David looks into the camera and says,
one day I'm going to get that phone call, and somebody's going to say, we found your son's disease, and we know how to fix it, and bring him in. And I believe it's going to happen someday.
Photographs of Alan as a toddler.
So David devoted his life, and he learned the language. He speaks like a doctor or like a scientist. He knows the eye inside and out. And we got that call. And Alan got to go and have this gene therapy, and it's pretty amazing.
It's really amazing, and it's truly wonderful what he's done. I think that he's dedicated his life to curing blindness because he has a personal connection, and I think he's been working his tail off, and that just speaks to who he is.
Alan looked up, and he goes, "Oh, there's one. There's one. There's one."
How about the fireworks show at New Year's Eve?
And at the end, when the finale hit, Alan looked up and he said, "Man, these fireworks are blinding." And we all just had this sense of laughter and excitement. And David looked at me, he goes, "Look what we did." And just we meaning all of you and the foundation. But really, David, I'm so proud of you. So
that was awesome. And Dad, I can't tell you how grateful I am for that.
John R. Cornell, JD, Director of Legacy Giving, Foundation Fighting Blindness.
I'm happy to have you as a friend, and we're all blessed to have you on our team.
Jackie Duncan, MD, SAB Board Chair, Foundation Fighting Blindness.
The world is a better place and a brighter place because he's in it.
Gene Bennett, MD, PhD.
In honor of your gazillion contributions to science, medicine, and humanity, I hereby award you honorary Doctorate of Science, of Medicine, and of Humanity. Congratulations, David.
Al McGuire, MD.
Hey, congratulations, David.
Karen Petro, Chair-elect, July 2024, Foundation Fighting Blindness.
David is leaving the foundation in a fabulous place, poised for even more global leadership in treatments and cures. I am just thrilled to be taking this legacy and moving it forward.
David, thank you, man, for all the hard work you put into this. I know that it's not easy. Thank you.
The entire Foundation Fighting Blindness family extends our deepest gratitude to you. Thank you, David Brint.